Bugatti Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus. The Bugatti Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus became the first production-based car to officially clear the 300 mph barrier, clocking an exactly verified 304.773 mph in 2019. It pulled this off at the Aerolession test track using an 8-litre quad-turbocharged W16 engine pushing 1,578 horsepower and 1,180 pound-feet of torque. Bugatti engineers extended the rear bodywork by 25 centimeters, specifically to reduce the aerodynamic stall and drag, because at 300 mph, air resistance behaves less like a gas and more like a physical brick wall that it needs to get through. It's a $4 million masterclass in thermodynamics, but what's truly wild is how completely unbothered the car looked during the run. Most things travelling at 304 mph require an FAA flight manifest and a black box. However, Sweden saw this multi-million-dollar flex and kinda took it personally. Koenigsegg Jesko Absolut. Enter the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolut, a car engineered with a singular goal: to be the absolute fastest vehicle Koenigsegg will ever build. It features a 5-litre twin-turbo V8 that outputs a massive 1,600 horsepower, but only if you feed it E85 biofuel. It's paired with a revolutionary 9-speed, 7-clutch, light-speed transmission that weighs just 90 kg and can skip directly from 7th gear to 3rd gear instantly. To maximise top speed efficiency, Koenigsegg stripped away the standard Jesko's massive rear wing, dropping the drag coefficient down to a ridiculously slippery 0.278. Founder Christian von Koenigsegg has stated that the engine has plenty of headroom left as well, but the limiting factor is actually the tyres, which is great context when you realise your entire existence is relying on 4 spinning circles of rubber that are fighting for their own lives. SSC Tuatara. The SSC Tuatara instantly became internet folklore in 2020 after a highly controversial, mathematically flawed 331 mph speed claim that turned the entire online car community into a furious spreadsheet-wielding CSI team overnight. However, ignoring the initial public relations disaster, the raw engineering is legitimate. The Tuatara features a bespoke 5.9-litre twin-turbo flat plane crank V8 pushing 1,750 horsepower on E85. In 2022, they officially redeemed themselves at the Kennedy Space Center, utilizing dual race logic V-Box GNSS tracking systems to lock in a completely verified and drama-free maximum speed of 295 mph. It achieved this using a carbon fiber monocoque that keeps the dry weight at a tiny 1,250 kg. It's hyper-optimized efficiency, which is reassuring, because at 295 mph, any sort of bird or bug is basically like being shot at. Hennessey Venom F5. The Hennessey Venom F5 bypasses complex European aerodynamic equations and opts for the classic American philosophy of let's just bolt a leather seat to a literal rocket booster. Built in Texas, the F5 utilizes a 6.6-litre twin-turbocharged pushrod V8 nicknamed Fury, delivering 1,817 horsepower and a whopping 1,193 pound-feet of torque to the rear wheels. It features a carbon fiber tub with a torsional rigidity rating of 52,000 Nm per degree, allowing it to withstand brutal forces. While Hennessey targets a top speed of 311 mph, its highest verified V-Box tracked run currently sits at 272. But unlike a Bugatti, which is built by a corporate luxury company, the F5 is built only by tuning fanatics. Bugatti Veyron Super Sport. When the Veyron Super Sport arrived in 2010, it reset the automotive meta by hitting a verified 267.8 mph. It extracted 1,184 horsepower from its iconic 8-litre W16 engine, backed by 10 separate radiators just to prevent the car from self-immolating under load. But the real shock was its sheer daily drivability. You could achieve low orbit velocity while enjoying functional climate control, heated memory seats, and enough premium leather to bankrupt a luxury furniture store. The cost of ownership, however, remains a financial horror movie. At its maximum speed of 268 mph, the custom Michelin tyres disintegrate from heat buildup in just 15 minutes, which doesn't matter anyway, because the fuel tank completely empties in 12. It's less of a fuel system and more of a direct financial pipeline to Shell. Saleen S7 Twin Turbo. The mid-2000s Saleen S7 Twin Turbo is a 750 horsepower, 7-litre artifact from an era when supercars actively wanted you dead. It had a claimed top speed of 248 mph and featured exactly 0 electronic safety systems, No traction control, no stability management, and no digital safety nets. It relied entirely on true ground effect aerodynamics, utilizing a carbon fiber body and a space frame chassis derived from endurance racing. Driving an S7 at its limits wasn't an upscale automotive experience. It was high stakes, unhinged text thread between your right foot and the laws of physics. It demanded absolute respect, primarily because the car looked like it would happily steer itself into a concrete barrier just to prove a point to your ego. McLaren Speedtail. The McLaren Speedtail completely rejects aggressive hypercar styling trends to look exactly like an incredibly expensive piece of futuristic kitchenware instead. It's a $3.2 million three-seat Hyper GT that pairs a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 with an electric motor to generate a combined 1,035 horsepower, topping out at 250 miles per hour. Its carbon fiber bodywork spans over 17 foot long, featuring static flexible ailerons at the rear that bend under aerodynamic pressure without any physical hinges. With its central driving position, the Speedtail doesn't look angry. It looks completely detached and calm. It has the eerie, unblinking composure of a corporate HR representative who is about to lay off your entire department via a very polite email. McLaren F1. In 1998, the legendary McLaren F1 achieved a top speed of 240.1 miles per hour, setting a record for naturally aspirated production cars that has still remained unbroken for nearly 30 years. It generated 627 horsepower from a gold leaf insulated 6.1-litre BMW V12, relying entirely on a manual gearbox and Gordon Murray's obsessive, clinical fixation on weight reduction, even replacing the factory toolkit with lightweight titanium. It features zero power steering, zero anti-lock brakes, and zero electronic driver aids. Reaching 240 miles per hour in an F1 required a level of raw human competence that modern therapists would probably classify as a coping mechanism. I've been lucky enough to actually work on quite a few of these. I had to strip one fully down to its shell to get it repainted, and also remove the entire engine and gearbox just to get to the fuel tank. But anyway, today's hypercars feel like high-end gaming laptops on wheels. The F1 remains entirely mechanical, organic, and historical, which is why I still think this car is probably one of my favourites out there. Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. While other manufacturers were obsessing over straight-line drag coefficients, the Lamborghini built the Aventador SVJ to corner so hard it could alter the Earth's rotation. In 2018, it claimed the production car lap record at the Nürburgring, with a time of 6 minutes and 44.97 seconds. It did this by combining a 759 horsepower, naturally aspirated 6.5-litre V12 with ALA 2.0, an active aerodynamic system that stalls flaps inside the front splitter and rear wing to vector downforce onto individual wheels during hard cornering. The SVJ is completely incapable of being subtle. The exhaust note doesn't just make acoustic sounds, it sounds like the engine is personally offended by the concept of silence, screaming loud enough to permanently startle every bird in a 5-mile radius. Ferrari SF90 Stradale. The Ferrari SF90 Stradale is concrete proof that the future has officially arrived, and it brought a spreadsheet. As Ferrari's first serious production plug-in hybrid, it wraps a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 around 3 separate electric motors, which generate a combined 986 horsepower, rocketing from 0 to 60 in a telepathic 2.5 seconds. The front axle is driven entirely by 2 of those electric motors, allowing for real-time torque vectoring that calculates grip levels thousands of times per second. It's a brilliant piece of electrical engineering, but it's a little intimidating to realise that modern supercars are no longer fast just because of mechanical violence. They're fast because the onboard software is significantly better at calculus than you will ever be, and that's not me just being horrible. Now, I think it's time to mention the 2 absolute electric beasts. Yangwang U9 Extreme. China entered the chat and completely broke the simulation for speed. The Yangwang U9 Extreme, built by BYD's luxury flagship arm, shattered expectations by hitting a mind-boggling verified 308.4 miles per hour at a test track in Germany. This isn't a roaring gas engine, it's a fully electric hypercar running a bleeding-edge 1200-volt architecture. It features 4 ultra-high-speed electric motors spinning at 30,000 RPM, unleashing a terrifying 3,000 horsepower. During the record run, the acceleration was so aggressive that the driver literally had to lift off the throttle because the car was trying to drift into the guardrail. It's a brilliant display of physics, but it's also deeply intimidating to realise that an EV can now travel fast enough to outrun a literal bullet train, while your phone battery can barely survive a 20-minute FaceTime call. And lastly, the A-Spark Owl SP600. If you've ever wondered what happens when a Japanese engineering firm hyperfixes on zero-resistant physics, meet the A-Spark Owl SP600. This low, slung production intent electric prototype took to the pavement and officially clocked a Guinness-verified 273 miles per hour, dethroning the famous Rimac Nevera as a world record EV titan. It generates 1,953 horsepower from 4 independent electric motors, wrapped in a full carbon fiber monocoque chassis that sits a mere 3.2 feet off the ground. To survive the run, Bridgestone had to engineer bespoke custom Potenza race tyres, strictly designed not to disintegrate under the massive instant electric torque. Visually, it features a massive rear shark fin and has completely deleted its side view mirrors to cheat the wind. It has the hyper-efficient, silent focus of a tech startup, right up until it accelerates past you fast enough to distort your concept of time. Now we've got through some of the absolute beasts that exist. Let me know in the comments below if you had an unlimited bank account and zero survival instincts, which of these keys are you grabbing? Remember, drop a like, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.